What are the economic lessons in House of the Dragon? We are going to be examining economic lessons from House of the Dragon and Game of Thrones during Season 2 dropping of House of the Dragon. So I'll be dropping a lot of videos with economics lessons. Please like and subscribe. Today we're looking at scene at the end of episode 1 of season 2 of House of the Dragon. So if you are not caught up and you don't want to be spoiled, go ahead and turn it off now. I will still be here. This video will be here when you have watched it. But if you have watched the episode or you don't care about spoilers, let's jump right into the clip.
Stay still.
Who the f*** is she?
She's the queen, she is.
A son for a son, he said. Or does she look like a fucking son to you?
Over there. We need to get our head and get out. They both look the same. Which one's a boy?
Maybe that one.
We'll look for a...
The mother knows.
Which?
I have a necklace. It's of great value.
That's not a son. Wait. It's the other one. She's not going to give up the king's heir that easy.
No. She's telling true.
Hold him down.
Okay, fantastic and very cold-blooded clip that we see there. So 2 assassins have been hired, and they have been ordered to kill the boy. Earlier in there, they're saying a boy for a boy, to avenge the death. So it's blood and cheese are the 2 assassins. They have broken in, and they want to kill the prince. But they don't know who the prince is. They break in, it's 2 kids, they're not sure which one's the prince that they're supposed to kill. The mom, though, of course, will indeed know. And so the mom, Queen Helena, knows which one the prince is and which one isn't, and the assassins order her to indicate which one's the prince, which one's the boy, Prince Jaehaerys. If she doesn't tell them, it's reasonably likely that all 3 of them will die. So she has to indicate one of them. They are going to kill one. But for the succession of the throne, I think we can safely assume that she would rather they not kill the heir to the throne, that they not kill Prince Jaehaerys. So this is a 2-player game where each player has 2 strategic choices. One player is the queen. The queen can point to one of the kids. The queen has to point to a kid. And by pointing to the kid, they could point and not lie. The Queen Helena, could point to Jaehaerys and say, yes, that's the prince, and be truthful, or could point to Jaehaerys' sibling and say, that's Jaehaerys, could lie. So could tell a lie or tell the truth. The assassins have to either believe or not believe. They're going to kill one of them, not both of them. And so they could believe or not believe. So this is a 2-by-2 game. 2 players, 2 choices each. There's 4 possible outcomes, although the outcomes, the payoffs in 2 of the outcomes are identical. The payoffs in the other 2 are identical. So when we have a game like this, we usually will put it into a payoff matrix, which is what you're seeing on the screen. So the payoff matrix shows that the queen could lie or tell the truth, and the assassins could believe the queen or not believe the queen. If the queen tells the truth and the assassins believe the queen, the assassins, we're saying here, we're just writing it down as win, right? They're going to kill the prince. They're going to kill the correct child. And the queen loses, in that the heir to the throne has died. If the queen tells the truth, but the assassins don't believe her, then we say the queen wins, right? One of her kids was just killed, so it's not really that big of a win. But here, the whole point of the game is it the heir to the throne or not? At least that's the way we're assuming this. So the queen would lose, the queen would win, and the assassins, though, would lose. They're not killing the right child. If the queen lies, but the assassins believe that the queen is telling the truth, once again, the queen, quote-unquote, wins, right? The heir is not killed, and the assassins once again lose. But if the queen lies and the assassins don't believe her, the assassins win. So it's a 2-by-2. It's written on the screen as winning or losing. You could put in payoffs like a +1 or a -1. And in fact, in many games, that's what happens. What we see here, though, is there is no pure strategy Nash equilibrium. A Nash equilibrium is a stable point in the game. And in pure strategies, there's no Nash equilibrium. Because at any of the 4 outcomes, one of the 2 players would rather have switched. Right? What we saw in the clip is the queen was truthful, they believed the queen, and they were right, and so they won. Well, given that happened, the queen would have rather lied, and then they would have chosen the other child. So this is a case where there's no pure strategy. At every outcome, either the assassins or the queen would rather change their choice. And this is common in a lot of games, right? If you're thinking of... well, let's think of, far lower stakes than, assassinations, right? Like, think of serves in tennis, right? You could serve left or right or penalty kicks, right? Left, right, center. If the player is kicking in one direction and the goalie jumps to that exact direction, the player would have rather kicked to the opposite direction, right? But if the player is kicking to the direction the goalie wasn't jumping, the goalie would have rather changed their choice, right? So that's there's no pure strategy Nash equilibrium with penalty kicks for soccer. That's just another example, and a lot of games are that way. When you are super competitive, it's often not going to be any spot where both are happy. Especially what you would think within competitions, and that's indeed what we see here. So there is no pure strategy Nash equilibrium. As an aside, many of you know this, the Nash equilibrium, named after John Nash, won the Nobel Prize in economics, actually a mathematician, and featured in the movie A Beautiful Mind. Great movie if you have not seen that. So there's no pure strategy Nash equilibrium, but there is a mixed strategy Nash equilibrium. A mixed strategy Nash equilibrium, it occurs when you can choose different probabilities to play each strategic choice. And in this case, the way we have structured the payoffs here, essentially you need to randomize your actions, and both sides need to randomize their actions. And here they would play things 50-50. We can solve this algebraically. We're not going to do this in the video. I will put a link in the description if you're interested in how do we solve a mixed strategy Nash equilibrium game. I have a different video going through that. But here, the queen would want to randomize between being truthful and lying. If the queen didn't randomize, and the opponents knew she wasn't randomizing, the queen would be exploited and the prince would always be killed. Conversely, if the assassins either always believed or always didn't believe in these situations, the assassins would be exploited and they would always get the wrong person. The correct strategy in this case is to randomize your actions, to play a mixed strategy. And here, you would want to choose each one half the time. So this is a really fascinating clip where we see an example of mixed strategies at work. A couple caveats, clearly. You could argue the queen had a tell, phrasing poker players will use if there's some action that gave away what she was doing. We're kind of ignoring that could have happened. We're also assuming that the queen indeed did not want the prince to be the one who was killed. I think that's a safe assumption, but we're making that assumption. If you assume something different, what that means is the payoffs we showed you, those aren't accurate anymore. And it's essentially a different game. That is something really fascinating to think about in game theory, is when are the payoffs not exactly what we think they are? Because if the payoffs are different than what's represented, the game will not go according to what would be predicted. You could go down a really interesting rabbit hole. And when I teach game theory at Susquehanna University, trust me, we go down those rabbit holes because it's really fascinating to think through, and it has big implications. We're just assuming, indeed, the queen wanted the prince to be the one who survived. I hope you enjoyed this video on some game theory lessons from House of the Dragon. My name is Matt Rosu. I try to make economics fun and exciting, often using pop culture. As I mentioned, this is part of a series that will be dropping all summer in line corresponding to House of the Dragon dropping. So please like, subscribe, and click the notifications bell. And I'll look forward to seeing you in the next video.